Morning, students. So students, today we will start with the next chapter in history. The name of the chapter is Industry and Trade. Now, industrialization is a period of social and economic change that transforms a human growth from agrarian society into an industrial society, involving the extensive reorganization of an economic for the purpose of manufacturing. So let's move further. So, after India became independent, the Industrial Finance Corporation of India was established in 1948 with the purpose of making available long term loans to industrial projects. Similarly, the Industrial Development Corporation was established in the year 1954 in order to bring about greater development of the industrial sector. Now, let us see some important industries in India. The first one is the textile industry. Now, the textile industry forms 14% of the total industrial production. It includes the powerloom and the handloom industries. The handloom industries are labor intensive, means workers are working. According to the Textile Committee Act 1963, a textile committee has been established. This committee sets the quality standards, that means the quality standards of the cloths, of the fabrics, for textile manufactured for sale in the internal market as well as for export. Later they are sold. Next, we'll move to silk industry. Now, this industry functions under the Ministry of Textiles only. Okay, it comes into the Ministry of Textiles. The research about the species of the silkworm and mulberry trees is found in the Cerobatic Research Laboratory at Bengaluru. So, this laboratory of the silk industry is at Bengaluru. The industry is primarily in the states of, now in which all states you will find the silk industry. They are in Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal and Jammu and Kashmir. Now slowly it's being spread in other states and predominantly tribal population. So nowadays you will find silk industries compared to these states in the other states also. Next, we'll move to the jute industry. Now, India is the top ranking country in jute production. India is a major exporter of jute products, things made from jute. Now, we also can see jute products in the market available. We get cloth, sackcloth, and ropes from jute. Next, we'll move on to hand sculpting. Now, this is a labor intensive craft. Okay, this is a labor intensive craft where the people work. Sculptors got employment due to the capacity of the craft to absorb more craftsmen, small investments, more profits, preference to exports, and possibility of earning more foreign exchange. Several cities have market mechanisms like Delhi Hut. That means Delhi Hut is a market where you get these hand sculpting things, which enables the craftsmen from rural and urban areas to get a market for their wares. That means people who are making in the cities and villages, making these things, hand sculpting products, they can sell it in the market. Okay. Now, the next is the automobile industry. Now, India is one of the major producers of vehicles. Vehicles from India are exported to 14 countries from India. The automobile industry is called the sunrise sector. Sunrise sector means the new sector which has come in India. India's tractor industry is the biggest in the world. Okay, in India you will find more of tractor industry which are being sent to the other countries. One third of the tractors manufactured worldwide are produced in India. So one third of the tractors are mostly produced in India. Tractors manufactured in India are exported to Turkey, Malaysia and several countries in Africa. That means the foreign countries are buying tractors, or India is sending tractors from our country to their country. Next, we'll move on to the cement industry. The role of cement industry is important in the development of housing and infrastructure. Now, we all know without cement, you can't construct a house. That's the most important thing in building a house. This industry is one of the most technological advanced. India is currently an important producer of cement in the world. So this is one technological advanced country in India. So India is also an important producer of cement in the world. Nowadays we see those cement mixers also where you can do your work faster, where your work has been, it consumes lesser time. Next, let us move to leather industry. Now, it is a big industry in India. It is a primarily export oriented. Now, we see leather things. So many things are made of leather, bags, shoes, right? So, leather industry is also a big industry in India. Next, we will move to the salt industry. This is also one of the top, India is one of the top producers of salt in the world. You mostly find these small mountains of salt everywhere in, when you go around in places, go to visit different places, you'll see this. So, India is the top producer of salt also. The annual production of salt in India is 200 lakh tons. The production of iodine salt is 60 lakh tons. So after China and USA, these are the first two countries which produce salt. After China and USA comes India, who produces salt, higher amount of salt. Next, we will move to the bicycle industry. India is a leading producer of bicycles in the world. So in bicycle also India is leading. Bicycles are made in the states of, now in which all states in India do we find these bicycles, okay, producers? They are in Punjab and Tamil Nadu, and the main center of bicycle manufacturing in India is in Ludhiana. India exports bicycles to countries like Nigeria, Mexico, Kenya, Uganda and Brazil. So to all these countries, India exports bicycles. Next, we'll move on to Khadi and village industry. The Khadi and Village Industries Commission was established to give impetus to industrialization in rural areas, to give more importance to people living in villages. The main objectives behind the establishment of the corporation were to develop the traditional industries like the handicraft, cottage industries, and to encourage other industries that use the material and human resources available at the local level and make the villagers self-reliant by creating employment there. Now, this industry had more importance to people at the local level, means the people who are staying in the villages. They used to mostly make products from Khadi. So, they told that the people who use human resources, we should buy products from them so that they also have some source of income, right? Okay. Next, we'll move to the next industry, which is agriculture. Now, in India, we know agriculture is practiced using traditional and modern methods. In the villages, you find it traditional. In the cities, we find the modern methods of agriculture. Now, many agricultural tasks are performed using bullocks. First, they used to use animals. We know that for ploughing. Similarly, machines are being used in different tasks like ploughing, sowing to harvesting, threshing, etc. Now, the major occupation in India is agriculture, means most of the people are engaged in agriculture and other tasks based on agriculture. Agriculture and animal husbandry are practiced in villages where people even take care of animals for their use. They get some products or things from the animals. That's called animal husbandry. 70% of Indian society depends upon jobs related to agriculture and agricultural production. So, mostly people in the village depend on agriculture. We all know that, we have seen in the previous chapters. In this industry, the participation of women is equal to that of men. So, both men and women both are engaged in doing this work. Agriculture is practiced in different seasons in India. We know that also. Many variety of crops are grown like jawar, wheat, rice, pulses and oil seeds are mainly produced. Along with it, cotton and sugarcane are processed to manufacture cloth and sugar respectively. Now, agriculture also includes some other things. It also includes the production of fruits and vegetables. Nowadays, industries processing these fruits and vegetables have come up. Agriculture fulfills man's basic needs, right? Without agriculture, we would not get all these things available for us. In order to encourage farming, loans are given to farmers through rural banks and cooperative institutions. Study visits, agricultural outdoor trips, and farmers get together are organized through the panchayat samitis to bring about improvement in agriculture. So various things are done so that agriculture becomes a popular, or you can say a good occupation. Tools and implements. So we need, for agriculture is not just a easy work to be done. We need certain tools, we need implements, we need seeds. We also need fertilizers are also supplied. The farmers are giving training regarding soil testing, nursery of fruit plants, pisciculture, poultry, cattle and goat, rearing, dairy farming, etc. Now, to grow good quality of crops, we also need good quality of soil. We need fertile soil, right? Guidance is given to farmers by a district level training institute. Financial help is given to build warehouses for storing the farm product. So farmers are also helped in case of money, in case of storing the food grains. Okay. So India is rapidly becoming independent in food grain production and farming techniques. Modern techniques like drip irrigation, organic farming are used for farming. So we know drip irrigation, where there are holes in the pipes and the plants get watered. Drip irrigation, all these latest technologies are also used nowadays in agriculture, where it becomes where the farmer's job becomes a little bit easy using the latest technology. Okay, next we'll move on to policy of the central government. Now, in the fourth 5-year plan, we have learned this before, 5-year plan in history. It focuses it placed on paper industry, pharmaceutical, that means medicines, motor tractor industry, leather goods, textile industry, food processing industry, oil, color, sugar industries, etc. So according to the industrial licensing policy of 1970, all those factories requiring an investment of more than 5 crore rupees were to be included as heavy industries. The big industrial houses and foreign companies were allowed to invest in these heavy industries which have a good amount that were not reserved for the public sector. As a result of this policy, by the end of 1972, 3,18,000 small industries were registered with the government registration office. That means first, which these small industries which were not registered, after some years, okay, after some years, that was after 2 or 3 years, these small industries were also registered by the government. Next, we'll move on to mineral wealth. Now, the availability of the minerals like iron and coal plays a major role in the industrial development of the country. We have adequate stores of iron. So we have these, we in India, we also have good amount of mineral resources. So we have adequate stores of iron, manganese, coal and mineral oil in our country. Next, we'll move on to forest resources. Now, government has reserved some forest for the industries based on forest. The task of conservation of the forest is done by the central government, the state government and by the local people. So nowadays you see there are no much forest, but then too the governments have reserved some forest and kept. Now, what do we get from the forest? Forests are necessary for the raw materials for industries like construction, paper, newsprint, silk, matchboxes, medicinal herbs, honey, lacquer, and raw material needed for paint. So, we think we don't get anything from forest, but we get so many different things which are needed for us. So, we should preserve our forest, not to cut down trees. Next, we'll move on to fisheries. Now, fisheries include seawater fish and freshwater fish found in rivers, canals, ponds and lakes. Now, seawater fish are fishes which are found from sea, and freshwater fish are fishes which are found from rivers, ponds, lakes and all. They are called as freshwater fish. Harbors have been built or old harbors have been redeveloped. Fish seeds, incubation centers and fishing industries, training centers have been provided for the growth of this industry. So in India, we see fisheries also practice a lot, right? Okay. Next, we'll move on to tourism. Now, tourism. Nowadays, we see people like to go a lot for tours, lot to visit places. Okay, we see what is this. India has a rich cultural heritage. They go to visit historical monuments, they go to visit nature spots, environmental spots. So people like this because for their own satisfaction, they have curiosity in seeing those places. Then we also go to visit places of worship, temples, churches, mosques. Okay, so India has a rich cultural heritage. There are places of worships of different religions, pilgrimage centers, confluence of rivers, forts, caves, etc. all over our country. We get to see so many things. Not only from India, but people from other countries also come to visit to see. Tourists from our country as well as from abroad travel in India throughout the year. The facilities for tourists to stay, travel, etc. provided through the tourist development. So nowadays we see when we are traveling, there are hotels, there are places where people can rest for a while, then they can go and visit another place. So these all things are available. Provided through the Tourist Development Corporation, sales of curious and the hotel industry thrives in tourist places. In some places, there are guides who give information, like how we have a pamphlet. Nowadays, we have a map, so we go through that. But there in certain places, there are some guides also who give information. You can go by this route, that route, okay, like that. So give information to tourists about the area. Sometimes when vehicles don't reach the destination in some remote and difficult to reach tourist places, the local people help the tourist in return for a fee. They take some amount of money and then they help. In certain places your vehicle can't enter over there. So these people help you in reaching over there. Employment opportunities are generated out of these needs. Next, we'll see the import, export or foreign trade. Now, when planning started in 1951, the import of industrial goods and raw materials required for production increased. Now, we know that goods from our country are sent to other country goods come to our country. Okay, that's import, export. India imports. Now, what do India import? Okay, sent to other countries. They import includes machines, irons, mineral oil, fertilizers, medicines, etc. So these are all the things which go from India to other countries. But India also gave impetus to exports after independence in order to gain valuable foreign exchange. So India exports included tea, coffee, spices, cotton textiles, leather footwears, leather, footwears, pearl, precious stone, etc. So these are all the things exported. Now next we'll move on to is internal trade. India's internal trade takes place, means how the trade is passed, how the trade goes from our country. So it takes place via railways, waterways, road, rail, airways, etc. So by all the means, okay. Ports like Mumbai, Kolkata, Cochin and Chennai are important for trade purposes. Commodities like coal, cotton textiles, rice, wheat, raw jute, iron, steel, oil seeds, salt, sugar, etc. are included in internal trade. That means trade which are given in India only, transported to other states. Due to the development of industries, the standard of life in the country improves. Now, due to all these technology, all these different industries, what happens? Our standard of living starts improving. Many opportunities for employment become available. So, people also get jobs in all these types of industries. On the whole, it helps in the progress of the country. So, on the whole, what happens? It helps that our country is getting developed and progressing further. So, in the next chapter, we shall see how the life of Indians has been changing. Okay, here we end with this chapter. We will learn the next chapter in the next video. Thank you for listening, children. Goodbye. Take care.